Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another Yellow Belly Tabletop live stream. Oh, he says, knocking his desk over.
Yeah, your
Just gonna,
desk. Fucking hell.
yeah, I
What a
just
talented
literally
man.
rammed into it with my knee.
That's a little hyperbolic.
We've gone back to the old front-on camera view because I've had to move things around again because I'm always constantly having to shift things on my desk for filming videos and other things.
Quick move.
It's all a little bit of a Heath Robinson affair. Yeah. What have you been up to this week, mate?
What have I been up to this week? What did I play on Monday? I played some OnePageRules.
Yep.
Random side related note, I made some jam this evening, and
This ain't a cooking show, so that's not relevant. Shout out to the wife who's already launched into the chat, showing her, giving us the support. Bless her. So on my club night, I went back to Arkham. We'll cover that later, no doubt. Also tonight in the show, we're going to be talking a bit more about UK Games Expo, covering one of the miniature companies that we saw some beautiful models at.
You speak of the devils that I'm currently cleaning.
You actually dropped some cash, didn't you, there, boy?
I did drop some cash, but to be brutally honest, they were too pretty not to.
Yeah, I have bought things.
Temptation.
I've bought things from them in the past, but didn't drop any money at UKGE. Just tweak the camera again. Right. And also, the other thing we're going to be doing tonight is obviously for those of you who watched last week, David began his how do I choose a game journey, which lasted all weekend when he tried to decide because he knew you were going to buy into a game, didn't you, mate?
Yeah.
At UKGE this year. It was just a case of dropping, finding out which one it was going to be. So we covered the first part last week, which was actually deciding upon a system.
Choosing upon systems
and then
what I look for.
The next step was actually deciding what models to buy, what factions to sort of drop the old money on. So we'll go into depth on that a little bit later. What hobby have you got planned?
Do you still have nightmares about that, sir?
God, no, I'm getting some counselling for it. It's fine.
Flashbacks.
Yeah. So what hobby have you got planned?
Well, hobby I currently have planned is on my desk currently. I'm cleaning up minis that I purchased at UK Games Expo.
Yep.
From the manufacturer.
We can go to your mini cam if you want, mate.
No, because we're going to be talking about this manufacturer later.
Okay. So that's what you're going with tonight.
The other thing I've got to do is build my Scourge event exclusive mini.
Okay. Yes, I've already built mine. So
yeah, you're one step ahead.
Yep. Just ready.
And then also a couple of bits of DZC. I've got to clean up the pre-release stuff that I got at the show. So for those in the know, DZC this week just gone after show have released some ruined vehicles in the correct scale for DZC and some aircon vents. They were available at the show in limited quantities, along with the UCM Behemoth before it was released.
They were sort of like a pre-release thing, were they?
Yes, they weren't out for another week.
Okie doke.
So I purchased the terrain. I'm not purchasing a Behemoth at the moment because I have a little bit of a DZC problem, which is I own every single faction. For those in the know that follow TT on Instagram, yesterday they released a box, a mystery box, because they found some old Hawk War Games sprues kicking around.
Yep.
5 units for £20. One will be a commander and one will be metal infantry. That is all we know. Other than that, it's a completely random mystery box. And some may argue, why would you buy a mystery box? Well, when you own all 5 factions, it's not really a problem.
No.
Because you're going to get the use out of something eventually anyway.
Yeah, that is
so.
fair.
That is on its way to me. I got the postage notification today, so I am hoping to see that in a day or two.
So,
what are you up to tonight?
Well, I've got them on my desk, so I'm going to plod on with them. Obviously, last week we covered David's decision to buy into Wild West Exodus 3rd edition. Oh, that's it. Shine that right in the camera, Paul. Then nobody can see anything. Well done.
Blind the public.
So,
Blind the public.
This is what I'm doing, because obviously with David getting into it, it's got me hyped again for Wild West Exodus, because that's how it works, isn't it? When a friend sort of like dives back into something or starts getting excited about it, that sort of stuff's infectious. So I'm resurrecting this bad boy, which I've had laying around for far too long. So I'm building the 2-player starter box from 2nd edition Wild West Exodus. Just get that on camera. So I've already been sort of like drumming away at this for a few nights. We've got
swearing profusely at the multi-part models.
I mean, I can show you, I think, on the old minicam. So, like, literally, the pieces are bleeding tiny. The hats and the heads are all separate. Why separate hats? Really? Is that necessary? So, I've already got built focus camera. Focus. I've already got built the Interceptor, I believe it's called, which is for the Outlaws, I want to say, or is it Lawman? I can't remember. But I've got the
Interceptor. The wheelie one?
Yeah, I've got the Interceptor built. I've got just haven't based these, because I think I noticed on their website, whereas previously used these big round disc bases for that stuff, I think they've got like a GW oblong horse cavalry style base. So I didn't want to base them upon incorrect bases. I'll get the correct dimensions if I can. This is the Iron Horse, which is again similar idea, sort of like a steampunk motorcycle thing. With affectations of US railway. And then we've got the 4 character models from the box. So for the Outlaws, I believe it's Jesse James. Get my reference here. I believe it's Jesse James and Frank James. And then for the Lawmen, you've got Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday. So yeah,
not bad.
So they're built. What I've now got to build are, you get a heavy weapon trooper for each. So you get like a guy with a bloody great big shotgun for the lawman, and a outlaw with some sort of weird sniper rifle, and then there's tons of guys with just 6 guns and rifles for both sides. So it makes a big old bunch of cowboys, basically. So that's what I'm going to be doing while we chat, at least initially, putting some of this stuff together.
Well, I'm bossing through these minis. There's barely any cleanup required, which is amazing.
That's always handy when that's the case. These aren't too bad. I know these are old plastics now, but they're not too shaky for cleanup. There's a bit, but it's coming off real easy. The biggest pain is the fact that the pieces are so small and there's so many of them.
I can't believe again, teasers. all these resin sculpts that I bought from that game supply or the mini
Yes,
supplier, they're all one piece.
I know. It seems like a little thing, but that is so nice when you get one piece sculpts in it.
Well, again, they're one piece sculpts that have really dynamic poses. Shout out to the sculptor, because insanely good detail on these as well.
How have I just? Oh, I see. Right.
So,
Yeah.
shall we deep dive into what we did this week and how we feel about things?
Yeah, so you went first last week. I'll go first this week. Well, we went back to Arkham Horror Living Card Game. And we played the Return to Essex County Express mission for the game with my usual play group, Natalie and Daniel. Now, for those of you who know the game, obviously Essex County has a bit of a rep for being quite a hard scenario. But Jesus, we got our asses kicked from here to Sunday. The idea of the scenario is you are aboard a train, and for Cthulhu reasons, basically the carriages at the back of the train are getting sucked into this rent in the sky, and you've got to skedaddle as fast as your little legs will carry you to the end of to get to the engine of the train, and presumably then either stop the train or get away. We'll never know, because we made it about halfway along the train before the carriage we were in got sucked into oblivion, wiping us all out. So yeah, we
That's the thing.
2.5 hours of frustrating, kill, trying to keep the monsters under control and rescue passengers that were sort of like just lurking around the train, and all for naught. So yeah, that was Arkham this week. But do you know that's sometimes how Arkham goes. We were given a lesson in humility, shall we say?
Don't go back and help people, because you only get shafted.
Yeah, first rule of Arkham is when it says helpless passenger, don't help them, because they can't be helped. Save yourself. So that was the first mistake. We tried to be helpful, and it backfired massively. So there you go. But quite excited. Now, Daniel and Natalie can't make it to club night next week, so, well, for 2 weeks for various reasons. So we're going to try and arrange a night outside of club to play the next scenario, whose name I had on the tip of my tongue and it's just gone. But yeah, so we will be getting some Arkham in, although it won't be at club next week, so we'll have something different to talk about. Just don't ask me what yet, because I don't know. What about you, mate? What did you get up to Monday?
I played some OnePageRules.
Oh yeah, you said earlier.
Got 2 games in.
Two whole games.
Two whole games.
At 1,000 points? Or not quite?
890 for me, 895 for the old Ricky.
Yep.
Because basically we played with what Ricky has for AOS.
Okay.
Now, game 1, I won 2-1. It was the Relic Hunter mission or something like that. Basically, there's 3 objectives on the board. You can collect them, pick them up, walk off with them. They're collectible objectives kinds of thing.
Yes.
The other caveat I will say is we did completely disregard the rules in 1 degree because we kind of played it like AOS and had way more hero minis than we actually needed or were recommended.
Yes,
So
which was interesting because I didn't even know that was a thing. I couldn't. It's not in the core rules.
Using their force builder
Yes.
on their old website, it is a thing. So Ricky had a couple of heroes embedded in a unit. He had his Blood Rack Shrine or whatever it is, the GW one.
Yep.
And a hero with that, and then a squad of 10, I think they're called Dark Warriors.
Right.
And then in his second squad, he had 3 of the snake ladies with bows, because that's how Ricky's got them modelled, and fuck me, do they hurt like a bitch when somebody can roll now but 6s.
Yeah.
And then in that unit, he had a champion for that, and then another hero, just bog standard like lady for casting spells and things. That's what Ricky had.
Just had to grovel on the floor for my arm. Carry on. Well, obviously not my arm, but the model's arm. That would have been random.
Your arm drops off.
Yep.
I had 3 Gorgrunters, 10 Blackhawks, Blackhawk boss embedded in that unit, Shaman embedded in that unit, and a War Chanter embedded in that unit.
Jesus.
Eggs
basket.
All of the heroes.
Eggs basket.
All of the heroes. And then I had 3 brutes and what is the GW Mega Boss Mini, but the Brute Boss or whatever it was called.
Yeah, that's the only thing that gets a little bit confusing, isn't it? When you're playing OnePageRules with your GW minis, it's like I don't know what it's called. But
so we played 890 points. As I say, I won game 1 2-1.
Yep.
Then for the second game, Mikey wanted to have a go, so Ricky loaned his minis to Mikey.
Yep.
And we played King of the Hill. Now, King of the Hill was horrible because, again, I learned my mistake after the first game of Ricky's Medusa minis can't seem to roll anything below lots of 6s, so they have a rule with poison.
Yep.
So when you make a 2-hit roll of a 6, you actually make 3 attacks rather than just 1.
It effectively sort of trebles the damage output, doesn't it?
It's ridiculous and horrible. So I learnt my mistake after game 1 and kept the hell away from them. But in the process, nearly handed the game to Mikey.
Well, I mean, again, sound strategy from Mikey. Push you off the objective with the models you're scared to death of.
Yeah, don't go anywhere near them because they're horrible. But yeah, turn 4 managed to just run the Gorgrunters in.
Did you go second?
Yes.
Yes, so that's the only thing with an objective-based game is that it's always nice to be the second player in the decisive turn, isn't it?
Yeah, so ran them in range of the objective to contest it because, again, unlike AOS, any single model can contest an objective. It is not based on unit size.
Yeah, the whole thing's a lot simpler, isn't it?
So there's no need to do any counting, just run him in and, oh, look, I'm within 3 inches of the objective. Yeah, you've got 10 minis around it, but I can test it, so screw you.
So basically you forced the draw.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Which is, there's nothing wrong with that. It's good, sound, strategic play.
Now, I quite like one-page rules. The only thing I find weird is particularly because Ricky couldn't seem to roll nothing out but spiked dice, was how powerful it is. And having reviewed a couple of the other factions, it seems just as powerful. That shooting is ridiculous compared to like a just melee build of orcs. Now, obviously, unlike AOS, there is that nice thing that I build an orc army. I can throw in a load of orc archers or whatever I want to put in because
Yeah.
I'm not tied to having particular models from a particular style or system.
Yeah.
So we have said about giving that a try at some point.
I mean, I've played 2 games, both variations on sort of goblins versus my Tzeentch.
Yeah.
And we did find ranged impactful, but not to the point where close combat was irrelevant.
Well, again, I suppose the other problem is Ricky could roll nothing but 6s.
Yeah.
I'm used to having a slightly better armor save on my Iron Jaws than I necessarily got, and a better leadership than I necessarily have.
Yeah.
So consequentially, it kind of leveled it out. But there was an interesting comment made that basically how Ricky feels about one-page rules and those particular snake warrior women, or whatever they're actually called. I can't remember the name of them off the top of my head.
Yeah.
That's how they should hit in AOS, not basically die immediately, which is what they do.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, given their sort of like large base feature models, they are a bit underwhelming in AOS, I feel.
fragile.
I seem to remember that when Patrick ran them, I chewed through his relatively quickly.
Yeah, it's not a difficult task to do, is it?
No, well, it didn't seem to be. Whether that was representative or not, I don't know, but it did not seem to be problematic. So a bit of a lukewarm response from you. Do you're still in the camp where you favour the AOS? Do you think?
I like me some shenanigans.
Right.
And whilst there is some shenanigans to be had in one-page rules, there's not quite as many shenanigans.
Right.
However, I will admit I certainly felt better for Ricky playing one-page rules and him losing than tabling him at AOS. Do you see what I mean?
Actually, that raises a good point. Although you found the matches, I mean, you said that you found them lopsided in certain aspects. Can I just be devil's advocate and say here, you still managed to win both games? Oh, well, no, you won one and tied the other.
Yeah.
Okay. Whereas AOS, as you played it last, was almost the definition of a negative play experience, wasn't it?
Yes. And I certainly felt bad after playing that game. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't oh, this is fun and I've won kind of thing. It was a, oh shit, what have I done?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to blow my own trumpet, but I wasn't particularly trying, and we were playing with rules light version. Do you see what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean, and we talked about it at the time. I think going rules light lent into your victory without taking it away from you, because you said your Iron Jaws list is very point and click in AOS.
No thought required. Point at enemy. Are you close enough to hit? No. Yeah. Right. Well, move closer, sir, and hit them.
Yeah, and certainly the whatever they're called, the Dark Elves,
sisters of the Cainite.
I was about to say Drukhari, but that's 40k, isn't it? So
they're not Dark Elves exactly. They're what are they? They're the blood women.
Yes, well, whatever they are. Yes, they require more finesse. I think because they are so fragile, you've got to play smart with them, get the most out of them. And playing rules light and skipping a lot of the detail isn't necessarily in that player's favour, is it?
Nope.
So yeah, it's interesting. I'm glad you've played it.
I'm playing it again, and I mean, at the end of the day, I am building a Seraphon army for AOS and OnePageRules.
I think. I mean, obviously, it did leave that impression with you that it lacked. Would you say is technical depth a fair phrase?
I quite like AOS 3rd edition, and I don't usually like GW products, so I'm going to put my caveat hat on here. And I don't know if part of this comes from playing Iron Jaws, but I don't need to think about anything on the sheet to play it. It's like, oh, here's an ability. Right, I'm using that. Here's my brutes. Reroll hit wounds on anything that's got tough 4 or more.
Yeah.
Okay, where's the biggest thing in your army? Right, off they go. Do you see what I mean? Everything has a specific job, and it requires literally no thought other than what's targeting what and what's the order of operations.
Yeah, it's the thing that is like one of the big issues or big skills to master in 40k: target selection. Choose the right target with the right weapon, and half the battle's won. Don't waste attacks on the wrong target, and you know you've got yourself an edge already.
You're onto a winner.
Yeah.
DZC, pack it in. Rules and information available at dropzonecommander.com. Well, I don't know what rules I need for scenery pieces, but pray tell, DZC, pray tell.
Okay. So yeah.
Oh, I mean, again, I'm definitely playing it again, and as I say, I'm already planning a OnePageRules and AOS Seraphon army.
Right. I mean, you said Ricky quite enjoyed it. What was Mikey's sort of
Mikey thought
takeaway?
It was pretty cool.
Has he played AOS? Or was he...
No, he hasn't even played AOS.
Okay, but he enjoyed the game.
Yes, he did enjoy the game.
Cool.
And again, that's the other thing, like I was saying to Ricky, he doesn't even need to just stay with the blood girls. Can't remember what the names are. K-Knight or whatever they are.
K-Knight, K-Knight Warriors, or that's it.
If he fancies some old Cold One Riders, etc., he can get some old Cold One Riders.
Because he can play the units from the classic GW Dark Elf list, can't he? Things like Executioners and, as you say, Cold One Riders and those wizard horseman things. He's got a lot more options.
Or the what's it? Is it the Hydra?
Yes, yeah, they used to have a Hydra with handlers.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and there's some cool models.
Or 3D print equivalents for them.
Which you can help with.
Certainly. I'm not a hobby dealer, you're a hobby dealer.
No, you're definitely a hobby dealer.
What, the compliment I got about the fact that I bought into 2 factions of Wild West Exodus, therefore other people can try and play.
Well, that's the point, isn't it? You know, you and I both do that. Because we like to be the guy that, brings people into something that they wouldn't normally, that perhaps wouldn't have appeared on their radar because they're in their lane and they're not trying anything new.
You only have to look at me at a hobby dealer about how many people at the Hobby Club now have DZC.
Yep. And Gaslands was quite a popular sell as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, to be fair, that was Wayne selling a lot of that.
Oh, Wayne was the progenitor with that, was he?
The wayward waif that dragged everyone into it, and then
Okay.
Wayne disappeared, and suddenly I was the one dragging everyone into it.
Okay. I think Wayne's planning to come back to club though at some point, isn't he?
He is, yeah, he is.
So very good.
I saw an interesting Facebook post today, actually, about these cars currently cleaning. From the looks of it, they've taken the Hawk Wargames mold and bastardized it. And the reason I say bastardized it is because the Hawk Wargames car packs that you used to get, these are exactly the same sculpts of, used to come with undercarriage and details on the underneath of some of the cars.
Okay.
Like the bus would have some detail under here. These are just a flat pour. Now, I get why. These are scenery pieces.
Yes. Bit unnecessary.
But it's like, okay, TT.
Maybe they took some sort of Hawk Master and remade a mould, but did it in a different way so that they didn't have detail on that section.
Or again, they're done this way so that they're slightly cheaper to manufacture.
Yeah, possibly.
Who knows? But there's a few bubbles in them, but again, the bubbles are all on the underside. I don't care about bubbles on the underside. No. These are terrain pieces.
And to be fair, that's intelligent design of the mould structure. If the defects are all in places you don't care about, it's like locating gates and things like that, isn't it?
Well, these don't even have any gate. Like, you know, TT can occasionally be very egregious with where they put their gate. TT, I'm pointing at you.
With calling you out here.
Because even though your sculpts are beautiful, why the fuck do you put a gate on the back of an engine so it loses all of its detail? The miniature itself is crisp and gorgeous, and then you've just gone and ruined it.
Oh, that was wasn't it one of your tanks or support units for UCM or something?
One of my tanks, it did exactly the same and put it all over the fucking back of the tread.
Yeah, that's right. I remember you saying when you were like, sort of like working on them, it was a bit like a WTF moment, wasn't it? It was like, what?
Well, again, it's like even the Scourge model that I've just cleaned up. Nice gate locations on his feet.
Yes, those are good.
Then you've put it on the point of his elbow, but where all the fabric and stuff is
folded.
Creased.
Yeah.
Why, TT? Why?
I'll be honest, I was quite nervous about that, but mine came away really clean, so I dodged a bullet. But I did think exactly what you just said when I was looking at it. I thought, oh, that's... You know, the thing is as well, if they'd moved it 3 or 4 mil nearer the forearm... Well, just put it... the upper arm's pretty busy on that model, but the forearm's got a huge flat zone. You know, just change the angle and move it up a few mil. Jeez, Lord. It's not rocket science, is it? Surely? No? Just me?
Maybe. Oh, interesting point of note.
Yeah.
Let me go find the sprue for it. The bottom of your sprue on your guy. I don't know if that's going to expose or if that's...
Mine's in the bin long ago. What?
Obviously, feet were here.
Yeah.
And then there was the arm here.
Yeah.
Did yours have all these other gates that I assume go to another moulding of this guy?
Haven't got a clue, because mine's long in the bin.
TT, if you do a 32mm skirmish game for DZC, I'm going to be a broke man.
I'm saying, I just want to say, they just happened to have a 32mm Scourge miniature to toss out as the event promo. Now that seems a hellishly random thing to just have laying around. Doesn't it?
I mean, yeah.
I think I am extremely suspicious. I think there's no them. It must have been designed for a reason, and that reason surely has to be that there is a skirmish game or a 32mm game planned in that world or in that IP, surely.
Because if there is, I'm going to be broke.
Because they don't already do a 32mm sci-fi game, do they?
No, they don't.
They do Carnivale, the
Rumble
wrestling game.
Rumble Slam.
Yeah.
Halfling fantasy hero.
Yeah,
things.
they do fantasy generic minis.
You say generic. I say Egyptian undead.
Well, again, I don't mean that in a derogatory sense, because they're awesome minis and they've got such a lot of character. But what I probably should have said was more, not generic, but more typical fantasy without a home. But then they can find a home anywhere. You know, Kings of War.
You can play them in Kings of War. You can play them in AOS if you really want
or
to.
The Warhammer Revival Project, whatever that's called. Warhammer Fantasy Projects.
Mordheim.
Yep. Although you probably wouldn't need the scale of models.
No,
so,
but they do adventurers for like Mordheim and stuff.
So
as individuals.
We're all individuals. So yeah. It's got to be. I mean, to be fair, it does look lovely. I've got mine here. I shall put it on minicam for the people at home.
It's crisp.
Bring my minicam in to where I have some light so that it's not sitting in darkness.
Because we've set ourselves a little bit of a competition on these, haven't we?
Yeah, well, David was a legend and bought me this as a gift. So I said to him, as he's bought it as a gift, if I put my hand in the back, can we see? The lighting isn't the best. Let's bring the light further across. Try that. So I did say to David, rather than do my usual cheesy speed paint, bang it out, I'll give it some welly and we'll actually do a proper job on it. And maybe David will do the same with it. Well, we know David will do the same with his. That's fucking. That goes without saying. He's never taken a shortcut not modelling in his life. Have you?
Nope.
That be not how you be rolling.
If it ain't on hard mode, is it even fun?
Well, apparently you think not.
Shout out to Dave at MS Paints though, because I watched that video last night of the
bulletproof trees.
The bulletproof trees, and they look gorgeous. And I'm probably going to build some.
Yeah.
And I love his motto of nature don't give a shit, so why should you?
Yeah. I mean, they were, they were what they were. They're a bristlebrush tree. We've seen 1,000 of them. They're not. They weren't revolutionary, groundbreaking hobby, but I do like his starting point. That great big long gutter brush, that looked amazing to get a ton of them done quick and cheap. And it was such a simple process. That's what I must confess. That's what I do like about MS Paints. He's on my wavelength. We do it quick. We do it simple. We do it good. as good as it can be done without spending the rest of the year doing it. Which
Because
is,
to be fair, I did watch a couple of his other videos, like the Desert Rocks and his How to Take Good Photography one. That's
oh,
banging for anyone that wants to
I haven't
learn
seen that.
how to better their miniature photography.
Right, I shall have to look that one out because I haven't watched
that
it.
that was why I was name dropping it, because definitely I think that'll be up your street.
Yeah, I do enjoy taking half decent pickies.
Half decent.
Well, it's difficult without great gear. But if I'm missing a trick, I'd like to know.
He does it without great gear. I mean, Jesus, he does a picture with a bloody shitty 90 quid tablet camera and it looks all right. So I'm sure you'll manage with your phone, boy.
Right. I'm going to have to watch that video later.
After the internet ginger goes.
This is the problem. Unfortunately, these heads have fallen off the sprue.
Now they're rolling around the bottom of a box.
And I don't know which is which. I think this is the A head.
Where's the other? Now, shall we go down to my camera, because I've got something to show and tell people at home. It's not the feature piece about what we were doing at UKGE and who I spent money with. They're in the background, so you might be able to see them in a minute. But it's about another 2 companies that I spent money with at UK Games Expo.
I need to trim my moustache. The hairs are getting quite long at the top, and they're curling up and going into my bleeding nostrils, and it's about to drive me off the edge.
Right.
So
I'm ready for minicam when you are. Sir.
I've got you queued up, mate. I'm just waiting to make the transition because obviously people don't want to watch.
Ready when you are.
Yep, you're on.
So, from a company called Zitades.
I tell you what, while you're doing that,
some plinths.
I am just going to slip away for a second.
Okay,
I'll be back in a sec.
So we bought some Zitades small plinths, put in some statues on for Frostgrave, because why not have little feature scenery pieces? Then the other gorgeous thing I bought as a Frostgrave scenery piece is this bad boy. So we've got an arcane circle here with a nice Celtic dragon in the middle and some nice runic etching. Crisp resin cast here. Absolutely crisp. Full of detail. The only thing it needs is washing. Then the other thing I bought while at UKGE was, even though I own a 3D printer, if we focus, I bought some statues to go with my Frostgrave because they were a decent price. So we've got 3 male and 3 female sculpts to go on the top of those plinths. Now let me find my last male. There he is, if he focuses. Focus. So that's what we did at UKGE. We also bought 3 female sculpts. So we've got a nice one there. A nice one there. And a nice one there. So they're going to get the lovely scenic snow Frostgrave treatment.
Now, you got the base, the plinths were Zitades, and the statues were what? Iron
Gate scenery, 3D printed from Fat Dragon Games.
Oh, so Iron Gate, do they just 3D print other people's stuff?
Yeah, by the looks of it.
Yeah.
But I didn't
That's
think that was a bad
intriguing.
price, and I saw them at the show, and I thought, if I remember the fact that I've got to go and get a statue from Fat Dragon Games, I'll never remember it, so I'm just going to spend 8 of my hard-earned pounds on some male statues, 8 of my hard-earned pounds on some female statues, and I'm going to buy them. Because I'm in a terrain purchasing mood.
So that's a company who then have obviously invested in the printing licenses from some of these other companies.
Yes.
That's nice to see, that is. So now when you showed me those at the expo, you'd had a little bit of an issue with sizing, didn't you?
Yes.
Do you think that's going to work, or is that something you're going to have to fix?
I think that might be okay. I mean, worst case scenario, I just sand all of this bit off here.
Yeah, just make it a bit less pronounced. Maybe take the edge off it.
The other thing is, it'll then reduce it in height. It'll take a good 2-3 mil out of it. Do you know what I mean? Get an orbital sander, sort that out.
Yeah.
That's like done then. Because what I'm planning on doing is putting some magnets in the top of these.
Yeah, because they animate, don't they?
Magnet on top, and then there's an animation rule in the scenario. So basically, the statue's going to climb down off the plinth and start chasing you because it's in the rules.
Excellent. How easy is it to drill that resin out?
It's relatively simple.
Okay, I can't say as I've ever had to drill resin.
It's no different to drilling normal resin because I drilled all my Carnivale miniatures.
Did you?
Oh, the other thing I did. Yes, I did, to pin them to the base. The other thing I did in hobby. The other thing I did in hobby this week. Look at the zenithal on that bad boy.
No paint on them yet, though.
No, but we're getting there. We're getting there.
They are nice models.
Morrigan looks gorgeous now. Look at him. I mean, even these boys. If I don't drop one on the floor.
Yeah.
Even these little crystal golems.
Yeah.
They're all right. They're all right. Right. Shall we do... Can you just transition away from my phone for a second?
Yes, mate. Yeah. If you're finished, I'll go back to the main scene. That's not a problem. There we go. We're back in the main view.
So I suppose it's time we come on to the main topic of this evening.
Okay.
Well, two main topics.
Let's do your story time.
Story time with David.
Story time with David. So, to bring everybody up to date, we discussed last week you were going to buy a game, didn't know what game. Finally decided on Wild West Exodus.
Yep.
And then there was the decision.
Browse the shelves.
Yes, because and you already knew you were going to be like, we've already said, the flag waver. So you wanted 2 complete factions so that you could get started with the whole thing.
Yep.
And terrain and the whole kit and caboodle.
Yes. That was a thing. Let me move my light a minute. So I'm better lit than I was.
So... These aren't.
So terrain-wise, I had 2 options.
I'm just testing the website, Wild West Exodus website, to see how best to show these pictures off. And I think I've got a plan. So it's like I said, I've got them ostensibly, they're queued up in the same way you did your list that you sent me before the show. But when you're ready, you tell me when you're ready.
Did you shift the 2 to the end that I said about?
Oh, I know, but I can do that. So there's the 2 that you actually plumped for. You want to do them last?
Yes, I want to do them last.
Okay. That wants to be turned off. That wants to be turned on.
Evening, Chris. Not much. We're just chatting about how I drove Paul up the wall at UK Games Expo by purchasing some Wild West Exodus. And I've just done a bit of a show and tell of A, stuff I've bought at Expo, and B, some terrain projects I've got going on at the moment. So I've got some DZC and Frostgrave terrain.
This is where we test whether Paul was listening to see if Paul remembers which two you actually bought.
This is your dementia test, sir.
I know one of them that you bought. I think I've got the right two. If not, I'm going to look so stupid. But that's fine. I'm used to looking stupid.
It's only your entire life's reputation available on YouTube for everyone to see forevermore and immortalised.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't worry about it.
Evening, Chris.
Let me just remember the way I sent them to you, because so it was okay. That's fine. Yeah, I know which ones I'm looking at now. So if you want to pull them up.
So do you want to give us any sort of preamble or just dive straight into it?
Preamble was, and I think we spoke about this last week, I asked the guys on the stand, was there any factions that played a specific way? And I was told, no, just pick what you think looks cool. So I had to wander around some shelves and I had to wander around the website.
Yeah. So essentially, we very quickly, under some advice from the experts, we have narrowed your decision space. I'm just going to kill my hobby light as I'm not hobbying. We narrowed your decision space to essentially just aesthetic. What miniatures were going to float your boat?
So the game in general, the Enlightened really speak to me because I like that mechy, biological, enhanced look.
Yep.
The Union, I'm not a massive fan of because they're all a bit regimented, but then that's what they are, and they're the army.
Yeah, it makes sense. But if it doesn't float your boat, then that's fair.
Don't mind the Hex, don't mind the Outlaws. The Aliens seem a bit weird for me, and the Warrior Nation have a lot of skin, and I dread painting skin.
Don't worry, Chris. We're muddling through.
So that's basically the backstory to it. So I was wandering around the shelves, and the first box that I pick up and I show to Paul is Infernal Investigations. Is it?
I'll just transition. There we go. Infernal Investigations.
Yeah,
so
these
what
boys look awesome. They've got a horse in it.
That is the model that for me, when I picked this box up, it was like, that model. That
mechanized horse, the girl with the jetpack, the other, is it a girl or a bloke jumping over the crate?
I think it's a lady.
It's just like, oh my days. The one
this
with the
looks
owls
like a bit
quite
of a
good. The other two, they're a pretty standard pose, but they look all right. Do you know what I mean? I really liked in this set the woman with the jetpack, the woman jumping over the box, and the horse. These were the minis in this particular set that spoke to me.
Yeah.
Again, the pricing on the stuff at Expo is slightly cheaper than you can find it on the Wild West Exodus site. Some of it was 35, some of it was 40 quid. Most of the stuff on the Wayland site is 39 quid, slightly more for some of the boxes. So that was the Infernal Investigations. They're lawmen, so they're pretty generic. They're all pretty unique. So again, if I wanted to diversify this posse longer term, I've got options to add into it.
That's this symbol here, isn't it, lawman?
Yeah. So it's not too bad. Yes, Chris, it is a skirmish game. Typically, about 8-9 minis a side at minimum, usually at certain points level, going up to a few more.
I think Darren, who's the studio painter who gave us our demo game, I think he said 6 was about the lowest you go at the full point count.
Most posses are 6. Most posses are 6 or more.
Yeah. But it's very low model count in this. Hello, Jerry.
Jerry's back in chat.
3030 from Bravestar. Yeah, that horse miniature is just that's sold it. for me. This was one of the ones I picked out because obviously David was like, "Well, pick anything you think looks cool," and it was like, "Yeah, that's cool."
Next up on the list, we have Only God Forgives. So this is an outlaw posse, or I'm 99% sure it's
Ta-da!
an outlaw
I
posse.
hope everybody can see this at home. If the OBS is working correctly, yes, it appears to be.
The minis in this that spoke to me were actually the scenic ones. The guy cooped up in a tree with a sniper rifle. The guy in the orange jumpsuit with a flamer.
I'll go through the pictures slowly, mate. So
yeah,
people
that's
can
fine, 'cause I'm
people
on a
can get
slight-
a bit. You
I'm on a slight backlog.
just talk at length, and I'll scroll
only
slowly
thing-
through the pics.
I wasn't a huge fan of in this set was actually the leader model, or what I think is the leader model, which is the woman with the cigar. It just seemed a bit generic for a leader model.
Yeah, with those wings on
it. It
it.
didn't have any much dynamism.
With the wings
the
on
wings
her
on
head.
her helmet and the like courtesan skirt that she's
Yeah.
lifting up at the front.
I'll be honest, I was just showing that one to the audience and thinking, I'm not keen on that. Those things, why has she got rabbit ears? That looks a bit retarded.
Yeah, it was a bit meh. I mean, the paint job on these further on the Wayland website is gorgeous, and is nice. But out of the entire set, about 4 spoke to me. So it was the guy with the flame and the guy with the sniper rifle, the priest with the Bible.
I was just saying,
right
I was just
hand.
looking, everybody was just looking at the bloke with the book because you were talking, because it was the next one queued up, and it does look damn good.
And the lady with the 2 pistols.
The
other
it's a 3x3 play size, Chris. So it's a bit bigger than Kill Team. 36 inches square.
These are all right. They're outlaws. Again, I can go and diversify and add to them after.
I like the female Clint Eastwood rip-off.
Which one's that? The one with the 2 pistols in the air?
No, the woman with just the poncho doing the few dollars, fistful of dollars stand.
Yeah.
Staring people out. Yeah, I'm with you, to be fair. The only miniature that I could take or leave is this woman with the rabbit ears. It's like, no, I don't really get it.
It's the entire leader model for the entire posse, and it's like...
The guy with the old grenade launcher's a bit meh as well, or whatever he's got. He looks like a 40mm grenade launcher. He's certainly got grenades all over his chest. So so this was a nearly but not quite. It was shortlisted, but
it was a close but no cigar.
Haha, boom boom. Despite the fact half the people in the band are smoking them.
Yeah. Next up on the list we have Dark Nation. Now this was
again
a box that spoke to you on so many levels.
This was the first one I grabbed when you said help me pick, because this is my jam. This for me would have been shoe-in. Yep.
I'm buying it. So I love the leader model with the dynamic wings and the tentacles.
I love all of these models. They're all gorgeous. Bloody amazing. Is all I'll say.
The spider leaning halfway back. Not a huge fan of the facial expression on it, but it's just a cool mini. Do you know what I mean? The tribal elder with the wings sprouting out of his back. Awesome.
I like the way that the head is upside down on the spider. That's cool.
Yeah. The woman hanging out of the tree, again, gorgeous mini, absolutely gorgeous. And then the werewolf. The werewolf's pretty darn awesome. So this was one of like my final that I shortlisted.
I would enjoy painting these so much.
The thing for me is because I think they're like twisted and tainted.
Have you seen that the woman in the tree doesn't have legs?
Yeah.
She's got sawtooth blades. Oh blades my Christ.
Yeah.
How cool.
Well, again, she's got no hands, has she?
No, she's just a sort of like a quadrupedal blade. Yes, Jerry,
by
we have
wielding
heard
the
of Mythos. I've got a load of stuff back when Paranoid had it, and we did
and
play a
Mythos
demo game.
was nearly a thing I purchased.
Yes, we discussed this last week. He very nearly bought 2 games at Games Expo, but we managed to just about contain him to only buying 1. But yeah, I'll be fair, out of the 2, if it had been me, I'd have bought Mythos. But as I say, I already own 2 full warbands, and I just need to get the updated rules and gubbin set, and some of that Dunmouth terrain, because it's absolutely unbelievable.
Hang on, boys and girls at home.
But we gushed over War Cradle's terrain 2 or 3 weeks ago when we did our terrain. If anybody's checking our channel,
Dunsmouth Fish Market.
There's a video we did about underestimating the value of pre-painted or ready-to-play terrain, and I absolutely we went to town on War Cradle Scenics because they're my new favourite.
Yes, Jerry, we were told this, and my wallet is going to be empty when this does eventually happen, because I love the Mythos stuff. The fish people, the Silver Venation one, whatever they are, with the guys with the armor and the Gypsy Squad, absolutely love them. Amazing sculpts from War Cradle Studios.
To be fair, the paint jobs were pretty stunning as well, but we got some pics that we'll show off maybe on another show.
After Dark Nation, we had the Soul Hunters.
I'm just going to say, before we move off Dark Nation, the only bit of this box set that I'm not keen on is this werewolf's tail, because he looks like a friggin' squirrel. It's too big. I don't really know what the sculptor was thinking there, but that's way too large. Anyway, sorry, mate. What was next? Soul Hunters?
Soul Hunters was next.
Yep.
So this
I've got them queued up right. I've got them queued up right.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm going back to the message that I sent you to make sure that they are in the right order, and I'm not going jabbering on about something else.
Yeah.
Soul Hunters.
Painted.
Yeah, painted Soul Hunters from Lost World. It's technically from Lost World Exodus, but it's in WWX. I like them. They're enlightened. They're gorgeous. The sculpts themselves aren't too bad. The leader model is amazing with his little lantern.
It's this steampunk vibe that speaks to you, isn't it?
Vibe is right up my street. That's why I like the Enlightened as a faction.
Yeah, I'm a bit meh on this crew, frankly.
With the masks and everything else. The woman with the net, again, amazing sculpt.
I tell you what, if Darren did these paint jobs, my Christ, that man is good.
The only 2 out of this set that I'm a little bit meh on are the girl with like a plasma lance and the hose running, and she's on one leg and she looks like she's running with a heavy weapon.
We haven't come to her yet, but I'm sure she's coming up. Yeah.
And then it's the bloke that's absolutely covered in like grenade pouches and stuff, and his face is hidden by like the collar of his shirt and things.
Yeah, this is the guy's on screen right now, and he appears to have a Ghostbuster backpack. He appears to be looking for Slimer, because he's got like one of them detectors with the arms that flick up.
So again, there's some minis in the box that I like, there's some minis in the box that I don't like. The vibe really speaks to me. It's probably going to be on my buy list at some point.
Right, but it just wasn't quite good enough to take the trophy at UKGE.
No, it was not. Then we have Dixie Resurrectionist, or Dixie Resurrection posse set. There is only 3 minis in this box that I like, but I like them so much it was nearly a purchase.
Okay, wow.
The thing that put me off it was the amount of skin.
Because you don't like painting it?
I don't like painting skin. I just haven't mastered getting the highlights to look nice and smooth, and particularly when there's a lot of exposed flesh, it fills me with dread.
Sure.
The other problem with these is most of the exposed skin is actually like necrotic or scarred or other stuff. And
Oh, because they're
yeah,
resurrectionists. Okay, got you. Yeah.
so I was really dubious about it. I really like Dixie, the leader model.
Is that the woman?
Um, yeah, the
Yeah.
woman.
I was just looking, we were looking at her while you were yabbering away. She's amazing, actually. Probably
I
my
like
favourite model so far.
the guy with a dagger in his left hand and what looks like a heart he's ripped out in his right hand and a quiff.
Yeah, he's on screen right now, or at least his back
He,
view is.
he's quite cool. And then the other one I like, weirdly, it wasn't until I looked on the Wayland website, because the box art on the back didn't quite do it justice, was the big hulking brute with a claw in one hand and his arm replaced with a Gatling cannon in
Yeah,
the other.
he's on screen now with that trap jaw thing.
Yeah, because on his front view, it's like the arm goes out of focus. You can't quite
Yeah,
see it
it's
or
not
make
very well
it out.
defined, is it? It's jutting straight
Then you go
out the
around
camera.
the back pose, and it's like, oh god, that's what that is. That's an entire Gatling cannon.
You've
What
seen the
the hell?
huge stitches holding his body together.
Yeah, that's I liked the mini. I was just very conscious about how the hell I was gonna paint it.
Yeah, okay.
Then, so it was a nearly, because of the fact that there was 3 models I really liked, but the other 3 models were really like Marmite to me.
Yeah,
I
okay.
didn't like the pose on the guy with his finger pointing out.
The braided
I
jacket
didn't,
guy, he's my least
yeah,
favourite.
I didn't like the guy with the 2 sword arms.
I could
And
live with him.
yeah, he's livable. He's not egregious, but in like order of least favorite to most favorite
Yeah.
out of the 3 I don't like, it's General Custard lookalike with his pointing fingers,
Yeah, no, I
the
agree.
guy with the knives for arms, and then it's the guy with the 2 like electro lances and the hoses.
Yeah.
Because knowing it being resin, those hoses will last all of about 35 seconds.
Okay, fair.
Because they're just small and fragile and so easily breakable. So next on the list, before we get to the good stuff that I bought, Wrath of the Nautilus.
So this is another Lost World Exodus box. For those that don't know, Wayland were planning to launch a sort of a spin-off game, weren't they, for Wild West Exodus?
Yeah, so it's
based in Antarctica, I think it was.
Yeah, jungle in the center of Antarctica because of a crashed spaceship. COVID absolutely hammered that release. It's part of the entire dystopian age that they've got going. So, as part of the dystopian age, obviously, they've lumped dystopian wars in. There's Wild West Exodus. There's Lost World Exodus.
They're working really hard to tie all of their IPs together, which is really nice, actually. I think it's...
and again, it's a fucking genius move that you can buy a warband for Wild West Exodus or Lost World Exodus or Mythos.
Yeah.
And play them not only in one game, but in 3 other games. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not constrained by the games and the logic of the games. And Mythos plays completely differently to Wild West Exodus. I don't know what the plan was for Lost World Exodus.
No,
but if it was
nobody does, do they?
Wild West Exodus, then again, happy days. So yeah, Wrath of the Nautilus. The reason I was looking at this set was because when Wayland came to Club to do the 2nd edition demo stuff, it had legendary Captain Nimue in it. For those that don't know, Captain Nimue is an Indian Raj's daughter or something along those lines. She's gone off. She's become a pirate / freebooter / freeloader kind of thing. Pilots a submarine called the Nautilus. Wrath of the Nautilus is the box set from basically the crew of the Nautilus submarine. Legendary Captain Nimue is standing on a wave crashing over the deck of this submarine. She has a weird like tentacle coming up behind it. It's an absolutely gorgeous mini.
Not that mine's the best paint job in the world, but I'll try and dig out, because we all
I will
painted the
find mine
model.
for next week. Yes,
We all
did. We did
painted the
it for a
model at
painting
club
comp, didn't
together,
we?
didn't we?
Yeah, I think we did it for a painting comp the month
Yeah,
after
we
they'd come
did.
in.
I'll try and dig mine out and take a decent photo if I can find it. He says, touch wood.
So Captain Nimue in this is gorgeous. I love her. I love the Erasmus Darwin in his hover wheelchair. He's just a little gorgeous model.
That is a cool model, actually. Really different.
The cat burglar is nice with the big, like, padded paws and the
I will say, just to interrupt you, the photography on these is a bit dark. It's a shame because the paint jobs really aren't coming out.
To be fair,
because the photography's very dark.
There is some pictures of these in that Google Drive folder.
Oh, were they on display in the cabinet at the front?
Yes, they were.
Okay, we might see them on a future episode, people.
The guy with the barbed whip, that's basically like the tentacle, gorgeous mini, lot of skin. Again, a little bit daunting for me. The only models in this set that I'm a bit meh about are the woman that looks like she's a cheerleader band leader with a bloody hat and a pistol out.
Yeah.
And the girl that's not the cat burglar or Nimue. So the girl with like a pistol down and her midriff on show in the pictures. She's just before the cat burglar.
I think we're just looking at cheerleader now with her massively oversized hat.
Yeah. Hats for days.
The one who's got like her blade up on her shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's all right, but it's a bit meh, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, it's a bit...
I'll be honest, I'm also not sold on the I am Catwoman one.
I mean, there's others I like in this set more, like Nimue and the guy with the barbed whip and Erasmus Darwin. But I am Cat Burglar with that little mechanical tail at the back just seems pretty cool.
Yeah, I guess. The mechanical tail is a nice touch. I'll give you that.
I suppose next is
so
to tell
why did this one? Why was this a miss? Just because there were miniatures in it you were just meh on, or was it something specific?
It was a miss because of matey with the barbed whip and skin tone.
Oh yeah, you said too much skin.
And
again, intimidate. He does have a lot of skin.
He's a good 60% skin.
Yeah.
He's wearing no t-shirt for crying out loud.
Yeah, okay, fair. Okay, so that brings us to the two that you went with.
So, shall we go with the curveball that surprised even you? Because I didn't really mention it. I'd been looking at it, and then I picked it up, and you were like, "You're going for that one?" It was the second box I picked, if it helps you remember, old man.
Was it Absolute Power?
No.
No, it was the Secret Service.
Service?
I remember you mentioning it.
Absolute Power.
I'll be honest, because of the female miniatures, I wasn't too surprised that you picked this one.
It was just, I think you were more surprised about the fact that I had barely mentioned it because I'd gone through all of this shit that we've basically just gone through on stream with Paul in person. And then I just thrust the Secret Service into his arm and he's like, "What, you buying it?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm buying it because it's full of..."
To be fair, you didn't mention it much. You picked it because, again, to set the scene for everybody, while David was making this decision, it basically grabbed all of the boxes for the ones that he shortlisted and then sat on the floor like some child at a play group with them all round him, trying to decide which one he wanted. And the staff at the Wayland stand were basically just standing around it, egging him on to add more to his pile, which was not helpful. Thanks, guys.
I mean,
This
hats off to Darren.
this whole process took 3 days as it was. They were not helping. Just saying.
So this is a mixed media box. So there's a lot of resin in this, and then there's one plastic sculpt.
Okay.
The 3 ladies are absolutely gorgeous. The one with her dress billowing behind her and her leg outstretched in front is a plastic sculpt from the original guys that made WWX.
Okay, that's your
Because it's
plastic
mold,
one then.
plastic sculpt. Everything else is resin.
With a ray gun. What the hell's she got going on there?
Yeah, she's got like a ray pistol or something.
That is a nice model.
Yeah, I really like Abraham in this.
Yeah.
With his bloody shotgun axe. It's just amazing.
He is pretty imposing. That bloody great big coat.
Pinkerton, again, nice sculpt. He's got a nice little sniper rifle.
Is that the guy with the bowler hat?
Yeah.
Yep.
I love the ladies in this with their frilled dresses. They're just absolutely amazing.
I'm thinking about how you painted those Carnivale patricians. I think you'll do a good job on these.
Again, leaning into my strengths. Absolutely gorgeous. I love the guy with the knee-high boots, the braces, and the massive triple-barreled 6-shooter.
We'll get to him. We're just going through the ladies at the moment.
He's just amazing.
Look at this. Is this one? I love the details on these models are amazing.
Yeah.
This is the guy you mean. I'm not sure about his shin pads. When's he into bat?
Yeah, but still, I love the 6-shooter on him, and they're not actually that egregious on the model. They look worse on the render.
Okay, that's fair.
And then the only model in this set I'm a bit meh about until I started building him was the guy with an RPG launcher on his shoulder.
Yeah. To be fair, it looks better from the back. It doesn't look good from the front because obviously he's posed. I mean, there's only so many ways you can pose a guy with an RPG, but it sort of gives the model an awkward look. And his jacket is very plain at the front.
Yeah, but the best is when you get this in person, you realise that RPG is actually a converted cannon barrel.
Oh, you mentioned that. Yeah, you can sort of see the back end.
It's amazing for that degree.
Nice.
So all in all, that was Secret Service.
And it was a combination. Well, basically, you like most of the minis.
The women and Abe made it for me.
Yeah, fair. Good man. Yep.
The women and Abe. So 4 out of the 7 minis were like, yeah, no, I want them.
Yep.
2 of the 7 were, yeah, no, they're all right. And then there's one that's a bit like,
yeah, Chris. Sorry, mate. Chris was just asking, have we had a game? So David and I have played both 2nd edition and 3rd edition demo games. 3rd edition is it's more streamlined than 2nd. It's a great little game. It's got a card mechanic in it, so you play cards out of your hands and you can play the card either as a boost on a unit or play it for an objective point. It's got an interesting initiative system where it's based on a mini deck of cards, which also generates your action points per model activation pseudo randomly, so you don't necessarily always get the action points you want. It's got
everything dies very easily because everything's basically 1 wound.
Yeah, it's quite quick. But hero models are really survivable. There's a quite a clever sub mechanic within that heroes have called Fortune. So they can spend, and they've got an action called Quicken the Dead, which means they can avoid being taken out. Because that's suitably heroic. I mean, if somebody were to ask me, this is not the simplest skirmish game I've played in my time.
No.
There's a lot going on, what with fortune cards, variable
The stat
activation
cards on the
points,
units.
and the actual unit cards can be a bit busy, can't they, mate? Like,
Yes.
the demonstration game we played with Nikolai Tesla. I mean, he had
got free magnetic move, didn't he, towards anything that was metal?
well, I think on the right hand side of his card, which just listed his special abilities, he had 8 entries.
Yeah.
So, as I say,
I mean, he is a hero model and he is the face of the Union, but
yeah,
still.
I
what-
would put this on the same level as Malifaux in terms of complexity. You know, learning what the unit cards do, what's on them, is crucial to how to maximize their effectiveness and to get what you need done. So, a really, really good game, but I wouldn't necessarily say it's going to be everybody's first pick if you're new to wargaming. If that's fair.
Yeah. I mean, it's a fair call of WWX. It's a good game.
The aesthetics killer, isn't it?
I mean, it's to die for. The only miniatures on a par we're going to talk about in a bit anyway, that we saw at the show at the weekend, of just gorgeous sculpts, and again, like the quality of the resin as well. Everything's gated nicely. Everything's virtually bubble and flash free. There's no egregious seam lines where the molds have split. Everything is just chef's kiss beautiful with these minis.
So, your final choice.
The first bit of action that I grabbed for my 2-player starter set, Absolute Power from the Hex.
I must confess, the Hex minis are some of my favourites.
Yeah, it was a toss-up between this and Dark Nation. The reason this one won out over Dark Nation was there's slightly more minis in the box than the Dark Nation.
They're all very large models, aren't they?
And 2, as I said earlier when we were just talking about the Dark Nation, there's a lot of skin on show because they're like fallen warrior tribe.
Yeah.
So it's not too bad. I mean, in this set, there is only one mini I am a bit meh about from memory. And it is the guy with the boarding shotgun.
Okay.
Everything else, the Hexalith Rock, Krampus, or whatever his name is, which is the massive like creature with all his shawl over him, amazing. The face, that's the guy reaching out on the box art that is just coming up on my stream at the moment.
The sort of like high priest looking one.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. I love the girl with the knee-high boots striding forwards in her shawl.
I think her pose is a little bit meh, but I think it'll paint up beautifully.
I was going to say, just wait, because I've got 3D shots in a second. Love the guy with the cane, just leaning back and adjusting his sunglasses.
Yeah.
And the like little Indian tribe girl / woman with the knife twiddling between her fingers.
Yeah.
Again, absolutely gorgeous mini.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah, no, this is my jam. This is what I'm getting. This is what I'm painting.
And then you get your weird rock obelisk thing, which actually looks like a really interesting thing to paint.
I think it'll paint up really cool.
You can get some, because you got like faces growing out of it. I don't know if they're carved in it or whether it's sort of like demon fire.
Yeah, they're pulling out of it. I'm just going to get the last. Well, so I obviously purchased the Rules and Gubbins set.
Yep.
Then the other thing I bought while I was at Expo was this, and it weighs a ton. The Red Oak Town Set 1.
Let me go back to the big thing, and then people can see that larger. So this was you picked your 2 factions, and then you bought your terrain as well.
Yeah. Bought my terrain. It was a toss-up between this and the £100 TT combat table. Now, to be brutally honest, part of me wishes I bought the £100 TT combat table. And the main reason for that is I thought this box was £100 because it was on the shelf with the other £100 boxes like the Ria Sonora and other bits and pieces. Turns out this box was £165. So it's still cheaper than what it is retail. There's some nice terrain in it and it's all pre-painted, so it should go together really nicely. It should build up nicely. But I would have got more bang for my buck, but then spent an absolute country age. And considering I still haven't finished my table from 2019 for DZC,
refer everybody to undervaluing pre-painted terrain video.
Exactly. This is like the gatepost for the hobby kind of thing. The other thing I've thought about with this set, if the coverage isn't quite there, I'm going to just tart it out with some 3D prints, Paul. Because there's some sets on printable scenery and some other sites that I'm just like, yeah, no, that's the thing. I'm getting
Well,
that.
I mean, to be fair, you're going to want to print some stuff like that anyway. Wagons, Sequoia cactus. There's some things you've just got to do.
The only thing that annoyed me after Expo, I went wandering onto the War Cradle Scenics website. And I actually said about this to you last night, didn't I? War Cradle do some really, really nice bases for really, really nice money. 60 bases plus their resin toppers that are Mesa and Frontier wood themed are £22 for 60 bases.
60, not 16. 60.
0 bases for 22.
And that's the base and the topper, isn't it? You actually get the bases as well, not just toppers, bases and toppers, which I think's nuts money. Good luck getting the other half into wargaming, Chris. I hope it's always nice to get your other half to sit down and play with some toys. I've tried several times with Ross, but it's just not her thing. We've even tried board games, and fair dues. It's not everybody's bag, but good luck.
Fair dinkum. So, what's the time, sir? It's about 9:30.
It's about 9:30. Yep, we're doing okay for time.
We got time. So, if I pick my phone up in a second,
do you want to go back to minicam?
Yeah, let me.
So there it is, people. David is now. He's just got
the proud owner.
At least he doesn't have to paint his terrain. He's only got to glue that together. So.
But I'm gonna paint bits and pieces of it. Let's be brutally honest.
You'll probably end up tarting it up because you won't be able to bloody resist, will you?
Right, go on then. Go down to minicam. So show the boys and girls at home the absolutely gorgeous box that you get.
Yeah, their packaging is pretty damn cool.
The packaging, the mirror foil, and the wood effect on the box.
Show them the silver lettering on the end. Yeah, there we go.
Just amazing. The logo, really nice. Absolutely amazing. So this is the Secret Service box set.
Why did you want to join the Secret Service?
The Secret Service. So we have obviously
a
lady
with
with her
play cricket?
Ray cannon. Matey boy over here with his rocket launcher.
Oh, that's rocket launcher, man.
Rocket launcher. He's all right if it will focus. What else have we got in the box? We've got.
I tell you what, I do think's a nice touch. Like I was looking at Rocket Launcher Man there. Those straps on his legs are exaggerated AF. But
yeah, so they're nice to paint
with these miniatures. At least they'll be visible on the table. Do you know what I mean? They'll paint well.
Mr. Tri-Barrel 6-shooter.
Yeah. He's got an awkward pose. He's holding it in quite a weird way, but
Yeah, he's a bit
it is a
lent
very
back.
cool
Obviously,
weapon.
obviously, the recoil on that's quite a steer to be leaning back that far.
Yeah, it's very cartoony and unusual.
Abe. I mean, just look at him. He's an absolutely gorgeous mini. He's just flawless. And there's barely any seam work to do for filling or anything like that on these. They're amazing. She was a bastard to assemble, but she's not been too bad.
What were did you get assembly instructions, or was it just like
No, you
get
have
on
to
with
go
it?
on the web. You have to go on the website, but you scan the QR code on the box and it
Oh.
doesn't work. So I had to do a Google search. And then the best thing about this Secret Service box set is they tell you how to build everything other than her. So you kind of have to guess.
Oh, you looks like you've done all right. I tell you what, those models are going to look absolutely amazing when you've painted them. The only problem is, I've got to listen to you decide what colours to paint them, which is probably going to drive me mad.
And then you get your little plinth bases and blah, blah, blah.
Because it'll probably take him a week to decide for each model what colours to do it.
Oh, you over-exaggerate, sir. You over-exaggerate.
Calling it now.
Now we have absolute power. So, in the absolute power box set, we'll go with the mini I like least first. Matey with his shotgun. He's a bit weird. He's posed a bit weird and awkward in the grand scheme of things.
Is that the guy with the army hat?
Yeah, the guy with the boarding shotgun. He can also play in the Union, though. So, happy days. Does she look slightly less awkward now?
It's not that she looks awkward, it's just a bit meh. For me, just personal thing.
I love it. I love the boots as well.
I mean, the one thing the concession, I can see how that will paint, and it will paint beautifully. He's just weird, that bloke.
The leader.
Yeah. But it's fine, because that's what he's supposed to look. Weird and
he's
slightly
meant to look like he's
unnerving.
About to murder somebody. Look at the chains.
That's cool. I do like that. What does it do in the game?
I'll go find the unit stat card after because I've
so it does have its own card.
Yeah, it does have its own stat card. Basically, it helps with it's a piece of terrain that you place. You can't move it once it's placed, but you can respawn stuff from it. It'll help with your checks and that kind of thing.
Okay, cool.
We'll go with this boy next. He's just amazing.
He's probably my favourite miniature.
Mate, are you adjusting his glasses, anybody? Absolutely amazing sculpt. The detail on some of these bits is amazing. And then the last one, which is honestly my favourite out of this box, if I can get it to focus. Look at the flower in her hair. And how it's come out. It's just amazing.
Yeah, you showed me that one in the hotel room. I mean, you can't see it on that image, but the definition on her pigtails, just the way that they're sculpted, they are so scarily crisp and beautifully moulded. It's amazing, that model.
She's gorgeous. So yeah, that's
very good, sir.
That's the 2 boxes I bought. They're all built and ready to go. I just need to wash them, prime them, and get the hell on with painting them.
Yeah, well, that's the story of your life, isn't it?
The power of grey, it melts. Next thing. We went to Black Scorpion.
Hang on a minute.
The reason I was doing this
Yeah.
was because I've obviously just cleaned up their minis.
Okay. Well, do you
And
want
I'm
to?
just
So
doing...
there's a question. Should we show off? Because I've turned your camera off because I didn't realise this was where you're going. So you're currently showing it to nobody. So do you want to show them the minis in the flesh before we show them the pictures, or should we do it the other way around? Discuss some of the photos, and then
Just some of the photos, actually, because that might work out a bit better than
yeah.
me arbitrarily holding minis up to a camera.
So as UKGE Diary Part 2, one of the stands that we went to look at was Black Scorpion miniatures. Now let me
In
just
Hall 1.
let me look at this. So we want that scene. I want to turn on that and turn off that. Now, Black Scorpion do a huge range of weird and wonderful things. I've bought Blood Bowl miniatures from them before, back in the day.
You do realise it's also a one-man band?
Yeah, I know. Now the One Piece resin orc Blood Bowl proxies that I bought, Christ, 5-6 years ago, were okay. I wouldn't have raved about them. They're fine. And then when we went to look, because I don't follow them very closely. I haven't looked at their offering in a long while. And then when we went to their stand, bearing in mind I own some, I was like, what the absolute feck. They produce some absolutely stunning miniatures now. There is no other way to describe it.
And rule systems to use those miniatures.
Yeah, so they're two big rule systems. They do a pirate one called Cutlass and a cowboy one called Tombstone. And then they produce miniature ranges to go with it. Obviously, everything you're looking at here, by the looks of it, is Tombstone, cowboys, Mexicans, fantastic woman on a horse.
I think there's even some conquistadors somewhere.
I need to get my keyboard so that I can navigate through this slideshow.
Now, the Outlaws were cool. I didn't buy any Outlaws. The main reason being I knew I was buying Wild West Exodus.
We're going this way. Just let me check OBS and make sure I'm showing the right. I am showing this to the public. I'm just going to let these miniatures speak for... Stop!
The painting on them as well, though. The painting was flawless and amazing.
I'm going to let these miniatures speak for themselves because, oh my god, they look amazing. Just incredible. You would just have so much... I mean, look at these miniatures. It's characterful, varied, fantastic. The guy with the bowler hat and his rather out of control beard. The cool guy with the burgundy waistcoat at the back and his top hat. If you want to go for something more conventional, you got the old Federate troops at the back. Federals.
That was the other thing I liked about them, was you had a male bundle and a female bundle for most things.
Yeah, they got, as you can see from the little signs that are in front, everything's grouped into offerings, so you buy all those 4 models for a fixed price, whatever the code was on the stand, or you can have Lawman 1, Lawman 2, etc, etc. But I mean, these are for Tombstone, obviously. We've then got fantasy miniatures. I mean, look at these things.
There was even that one.
Mordheim, anybody?
There was even that one riding a fucking chameleon.
I don't know if we got a picture of it. Men at Arms with their surcoats and shields.
I mean, their pricing scheme isn't bad, Chris, and the quality is fucking amazing.
I mean, David bought some, so we can show you the real deal in a bit, but look at it. Look, these are the pirates, so this is for their pirate game Cutlass. Look at all the female sculpts. You've got so much choice.
Teasers.
So much choice.
But I had what Paul quoted as a genius idea. I have behind me here
Royal Navy Marines to fight the pirates. Want to do a boarding action? Well, here you
go. Frostgrave Ghost Archipelago. I've played this in anger twice. Both times with Paul when I went to Scotland to see him. It was a Christmas present. Haven't actually had chance to play it amazingly. I was missing some minis for it. It's set in a tropical paradise. What shall we play in a tropical paradise? How about a shit ton of female pirates, boys and girls at home?
Yep. It's got to be done.
It's got to be done. And
this picture that I'm showing now, this is just a couple of weird little miniatures. You got Daffy Duck with a Sten gun and a weird woman sitting on a pumpkin with an owl. I don't know if obviously these sold out. It goes without saying, why.
Daffy Duck with a Sten gun.
£2.
Yeah, £2. Don't mind if I do.
For a bit of a fun painting project, yeah, I'll have 2. I mean, these miniatures that we're looking at now, I don't think these are for any game in particular, but they just go to show the range and breadth of the offering you get from Black Scorpion. There's all bloody sorts, and they're beautiful.
The other thing I'm going to do with the female pirates that I bought is use them to build a Mordheim warband.
There's some more. These pictures were taken by David W. Thank you, David.
Yeah, David. Shout out to David.
He's a better cameraman. He's a better photographer than I
am. They're just, again, credit to whoever painted these, because Paul said it at the show that Black Scorpion's website isn't necessarily the best because there's a lot of pictures of the Raw Masters or just of resin cast.
Yeah.
They have upped their game recently.
I was going to say, I looked at it just before the show, and they have actually, as David said, they've upped their game a lot. Because their old photography and that on their miniatures was terrible. But they're a lot better.
Goblin Pirates, anybody?
I was just thinking, do you know what I was thinking to myself, mate? I should get these for Ghost Archipelago to fight against your women.
It'd be brilliant, wouldn't it?
That would be so thematic. Dwarf Pirates. Oh my god, I missed these. I didn't even realise they did them.
To be fair, their stand was always pretty busy, and you did always struggle to look in the cases.
So nice.
But
some close-ups of some of these pirate model miniatures.
The quality, the price, the painting on these, gorgeous.
Really amazing.
Really, really amazing. One of the standout independents from the show that don't necessarily have a game system, where out of like those kind of guys that are just producing beautiful minis. Obviously, credit to Black Scorpion for producing gorgeous minis and then going, we can make a game out of these and play Cutlass and Tombstone. I'm really intrigued to give Cutlass and Tombstone a go because these guys deserve a lot of my hobby dollar.
I've just decided I'm going to give Tombstone a go because what's better than cowboys? Undead cowboys.
You saw a mini.
Well, I'm just sharing with the people at home the Old West Terrors set 3. And effectively what they are is skeletons dressed as cowboys.
I miss them. I miss them.
If you've got, and then look at these. You've got an objective model at the back with a guy with his gun pressed to a woman's head holding a hostage.
Yeah,
Oh, mate, the models are so damn good. And the thing is, it's what's really nice is to see, because I mean there are loads of Wild West model ranges out there. Games like Dead Man's Hand, Fistful of Lead.
I was about to say Fistful of Lead because that's the one that's popular at the Slapding Club, isn't it?
But the female sculpts really jumped out at me on their stand. Because again, look at this woman. This woman here with the waistcoat, the long hair, the long coat. We're not tits out. We're not over sexualized. We're just a really cool female sculpt. Even this one with the gun pointed in front of her, almost running forward, shooting.
I mean, her with the shotgun at the back and the bowler hat. Yeah. I really like her.
Yeah,
because she's just drawing a weapon and bringing it up.
It's just nice to see
female
models, but not
titties.
I mean, again, yes, we've got the ones in the long frocks and that, but these are just as cool.
Yeah,
just as cool. And here's this Old West females box one again. They are just amazing. The paint jobs are killer. Some more of the shots. Bank robbers. Jesus. Put the money in a bag. So cool.
Insanely good. But no, these guys were one of the standout independents at the show for us.
Yeah.
Pricing was good, quality was good, painting on the display pieces was exceptional. And even the stuff that they didn't have painted, like the woman on the chameleon, you could still imagine that painted up and looking amazing.
So, I mean, that's all the pictures we've got. But what I can do is I'll just show everybody.
Navigate to the website and see if it's on there.
So let's go back to here. So this is the Black Scorpion website for everybody who wants to go and have a browse.
For those that have a Kickstarter itch at the moment, there's a Kickstarter running for like D&D adventurers.
So
there's a halfling riding a dodo, a barbarian, a paladin, all kinds of nice minis. I think there's like 6 or 8 in the set. Wizard with the owl and the staff, that's in the Kickstarter. They're gorgeous and they look crisp, and just if you've got a Kickstarter itch or you want to spend some money with these guys and you fancy like some fantasy minis for Frostgrave, you fancy some fantasy minis or fantasy minis just generally full stop, some Wild West minis or some...
I'm currently showing off their fantasy football range.
There's all sorts available.
Here's their version of Halflings with a sort of like Altdorf, Old World Empire feel. I like the Tree Man, actually. Tree Man's cool as all hell.
I like the Amazon team that they do, and I had contemplated getting it.
Yeah, I've just had those up on the screen. The 4 Amazons. Rookie Ogres. I mean, so much.
And this is just for Blood Bowl.
So, and then they've got this Brennan Moore. I think this is the fantasy range we were looking at that was on the website, on the stand. So you've got
Chris has just made a point in chat.
Yep.
He hasn't bought a miniature in such a long time because he's got a 3D printer now. But these are so worth the buy. Definitely. All day, Chris. I mean, definitely. I suppose you're a bit like me to a degree. You've got a massive backlog of STL files that you're still on the way for printing. But definitely these guys for physical minis rather than a STL file, worth it every day of the week. I mean, just that set that you've got on stream at the moment. So obviously there's a slight delay on this, but the the archer, the woman with the staff, and that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. Amazing minis just for Frostgrave. Just for Frostgrave. Generic humans with fantasy weapons for Frostgrave. Why not? There's a wizard in there with an owl and a staff. Have that for Frostgrave.
I apologise to people if we're getting some stutter on the audio with the stream. I think I'm pushing my computer to the limit with far too many Microsoft tabs open, because I can hear David is glitching a little bit for me, so he might be live on the stream, and I do apologise for that. But I'm probably over-egging my computer. Undead Pirates. Who wants to do Pirates of the Caribbean on the tabletop? Well, here you go.
Please tell me they have a Davy Jones mini.
I shall have a look for you. Cutlass. Stop. Cutlass.
Yeah.
Undead
Chris
Pirates.
has just come back with the haha yeah to having a backlog of STLs. Tell me about it, mate. I had a look on my hard drive the other week at how many gigs of STLs I have. Let's just say it's 3/4 of a terabyte. Quit.
Flipping heck. This is their somebody Jones, Jacka-Row Jones. He's up on screen. It's not the most amazing mini because he's covered by a big cloak, but it's just cool. Undead Pirate. Don't mind if we do. Right. Shall we go back to
Hobby?
Yeah, we've got 10 minutes left. So there we go. Black Scorpion Miniatures. Give them a visit. I'll put the link to the website when I update the description with the running order and the chapters. I'll put that in there for everybody so that you can click through to it. But yeah, blew my socks off.
Actually, go live on my camera.
Go. Yes, let's show people the real deal, and you can show them just how crispy they really are. So you bought, just to remind everybody, you bought the pirate females, which you're going to use for Ghost Archipelago, yeah?
2 female pirate sets and then some individual minis that are also female. Oh shit, she's on the floor. I'll get her in a minute.
Turn it all the way around. Let's have a look at the back.
Just gorgeous, flawless sculpt. Some over strenuous detail in places, but again, they're all hand sculpted. They're all gorgeous minis. Lots of detail on there.
You haven't got any bent or wonky weapons at all, have
No,
you?
literally no bent or wonky weapons.
Everything's flawless. They're resin, Chris. Are they all one piece, mate?
All one piece.
One piece resins. That's got some nice surface details on it. That'll paint really well. They're really good.
Only thing I'm not a fan of, the slotter base, but then that's just my personal preference.
Yeah. No, yeah. They're a bit of work. Do the slots go right across? So you're going to have to get the old acrylic filler and you're going to have to patch them. Bit of a pain. Actually, why didn't you do yourself some ship planking base toppers?
Don't worry, I'm already on it.
Might have known. Should have known.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda. Focus on her face.
Very good, mate. Very good.
This one has a little bit of gratuitous cleavage, but...
Yeah, but, I mean, to be fair...
I mean, again, out of all of the minis I bought, there's only 2 that I would argue have a bit of gratuitous cleavage. Her that I've just shown off, and then this one who is blowing a kiss like a siren.
Yeah. I mean, again, I'm not saying it's... That look is that look.
Yeah.
But what's nice is they give you an alternative to that look. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you don't have to just buy gratuitous titties for days.
No. I think it's cool.
And again, that's the other thing. So, like, you look here. Let me just get 3 and put in a row. They're all sculpted, like these 3, if I pull her out of a base, differently. So you've got this one that's quite sort of gender androgynous. Obviously, there's cleavage under the clothing, but it's long coat and everything else. You've got a bigger, curvier girl. And then you've got built like a rake with a bit of underboob and cleavage. It's not... Every one is a unique sculpt. There is nothing that you could say and argue is, oh, well, they've lifted bits of that mini and put on a different one.
Yeah. They've gone out of their way to create individual character for models without there being basically a stitchwork of cliches.
Yeah. They're all really nice. And I think all this lot, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 minis cost me about 30-ish quid, just the other side of 30 at the show.
So 12 minis for 30 quid. That's
Just
less than 3 quid each. I don't think that's bad for boutique resin.
That's what I mean. It's really not bad for boutique resin. But 12 minis gives me a warband kind of thing. Do you see what I mean? It's
because Ghost Archipelago's 10, isn't it? So
yeah, Ghost Archipelago's 10 men, and it follows the same rules as what's it called?
So you've got your warband and a couple of subs.
Yeah, and again, I don't necessarily have the subs that I want for Ghost Archipelago, but this is a good starting point for a warband.
Yeah, sure.
Because again, I could use a couple of these in Frostgrave if I really wanted to. Well, they're not going to look out of place.
To be fair though, they're those sort of games. You can use whatever floats your boat, can't you?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I use Burrows and Badgers minis for Frostgrave.
I am done with the on stream of my camera.
I shall turn you off.
Motion sickness.
Just bear with me. Let's go back to this one. Oh, there we go. We're back in the room. Oh, this is a bit fiddly.
And I mean, again, that's the other thing. They're one piece, but they're dynamic posed.
Yeah.
Dynamically posed one piece minis.
I mean, some of them are a bit static. I don't, you know. Let's not oversell it, but...
No, but again, you compare it to Wild West Exodus. What have I had to do on cleanup to these tonight? Take them out of the bag, scrape a couple of mould lines. Literally a couple of mould lines across 12 minis. Wild West Exodus, I had to take out the bag, scrape a couple of mould lines on tiny little arms and bits and pieces.
Yeah.
Then get the super glue and activator out, then build them, and not glue stuff to myself or to another mini. Yeah. It's like, what?
I must confess, this goes back to like why I'm us old guard. I don't know if Jerry's still here, but us old fuddy duddies. This is why we like metals. You know, because back in the day,
because they are 1 or 2 pieces.
Yeah, 1 piece, 90% of them. The old. Back in the 80s and 90s, everything was 1 piece metal sculpts. Basically, you just had to put them in the slot bases and you were done.
And fill the slot bases if you were so inclined.
Well, that's pretty much perfect, mate, because it's 10 o'clock. I got 3 cowboys built, so it wasn't a complete waste of time.
I got a few mod lines scraped and built. What's the plans for you for next week in hobby then? As in for club and other bits and pieces.
Well, as I say, we're going to be doing Arkham, but not at club. So that's a thing. What
Jerry is still here lurking because he's just gone sweet lad.
Yeah. that you could the old school models you could before white metal they were dark grey lead, dead matte finish, and you could almost smell it killing you.
Don't put it in your mouth, boys and girls.
But yeah, it's bang on. So yeah, I'm gonna have to crack on with my painting competition because next month's painting competition at the club is Grimdark, isn't it?
It is Grimdark.
So I am planning to do some of my miniatures from my Mansions of Madness 2nd edition board game. So we're going to be doing some Cthulhu monsters. For that,
I haven't quite decided.
Because
I currently have 2 schools of thought on my painting competition.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
You want mine? Just don't drop that.
My webcam just went for a fly, boys and girls. There we go. That's not terrible. I have 2 schools of thought. One school of thought is paint Morrigan from top tier.
Yep, your undead boss thing.
And get that out the way.
And it's grimdark, yeah. I can see it fit in the theme.
My second school of thought.
Oh, he's disappeared, everybody.
I've just lent out of shot to go and get minis. My second school of thought is these boys. Not Wild West Exodus. Carnivale. And paint my doctors.
Yes. Because your patricians are done now, aren't they?
Nothing screams grimdark like a guy in a plague mask.
Yes. Do it. Yeah, that gets my vote. And it's going to be nobody else at club's going to do that.
No, this is true.
So that would be a really cool thing to do. And once they're done, you will then have 2 factions painted, and you'll be able to
I can start playing starter games.
You can start winding them in.
What painting competition are we doing, Chris? It's just the usual one that we do at club, obviously the first Monday of each month with the random themes and the public vote, mate. What we used to do when, obviously, you used to swing by and everything else. We just name a theme, do it.
We have kept the tradition going. Or, well, I haven't, because I now live in Scotland and have bugger all to do with the club. But David has kept the tradition going. And I think, is it V manages it now? Jake as well.
Yeah, V came up with a load of the themes for this year, and my only feedback when he ran them by me was don't put that one and that one together because they're too similar to one another. Just sub it out for something else, use that one next year, mate. But that is my extent of being involved with painting comp now. Because again, just before you left for Scotland and the year after you left for Scotland, obviously I ran it with the themes and that kind of thing, didn't I? Because I ran the themes by you for that year.
But, you've come up with some good ones recently. I liked Objectively Objective. I thought that was a clever theme. Shame more people didn't enter that. You only had 4, didn't you, for that one?
Yeah, there was me. Well, 5 technically. Charlie entered, but Charlie didn't get any votes.
Oh no, bless him. Yeah.
Me, V, DW, and Ricky. me and Ricky came joint first, and we actually did objective markers. I did my
Good old days, Chris has put. Yeah, definitely, mate.
I did my gem chest for Star Scrappers. Ricky did a banner for his Beastman army that he's getting into. DW did a PHR Behemoth, because if you objected to the fact that he entered it into the painting competition, that was his argument for it being objectively objective. Also, that, and the second it hits the table, it does become priority numero uno. Get it fuck off the table.
Yeah, it is the only objective that anybody cares about. Kill it now.
And then V did a here's how I used to paint, here's how I paint now, here's my objective improvement.
Yeah, you see, this is it. I love that. I love when people take what you think's a simple concept and just do a twist on it.
Yeah.
I love that. And again, the more odd the subject, sometimes the more clever the ideas. I don't know. We never really cover the painting competition on the live stream. I don't know if anybody's interested in the comments. Just
leave a handy dandy little comment, because the other thing is we can go back through the other months.
Yeah, we could actually do. We could, because they're all up on Discord, aren't they? The club's Discord server. To be fair, thinking ahead to the future, we hardly, with our 25 subscribers, we hardly warrant a Discord server at the moment. But should that day come, we could even do a painting competition again if people want. Because the club only does it as a motivational tool, doesn't it, mate? You don't win a huge cash prize. You don't win.
All you get is bragging rights for a month. Yeah. I've won painting competition.
Yeah, you don't get an Aston Martin DB9 or none of that.
A big golden demon medal.
No,
it is literally there to motivate people to think outside of the box, bend the rules on the competition in such a way of like objectively objective. Well, we had two people that went quite literal with it. Then we had two people that went a completely different direction with it. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah,
it's
sure.
Just there as a motivational tool for everyone at club to get involved, get some paint down on a mini, throw it in the first Monday of the month.
Yeah, and to be fair, you can even. The other thing I like about it sometimes is it makes you paint something that wasn't necessarily on your painting horizon. So you get work done that you weren't necessarily expecting to get done, simply because you think, oh, actually, that fits the theme. I'll pull that out. It's like the ones I did for last month. Those infinity markers. I've been sitting on them 3D prints for how long?
Months?
Was it last Christmas or the Christmas before you gave me them, or?
Oh. Yeah, something like that.
Chris
I was just looking at Chris's comment of, it gave me a reason to paint, lol. Now everything's just primed. I mean, a lot of my shit's just primed as well, Chris. But
yeah, don't feel bad about it, mate. At least you've got primer on it. I was talking to David about playing. Yeah, he's just reposted it. He obviously had a typo or some nonsense in there. We were joking about, David was asking me what game to play at club next week, and I said, well, what have you got fully painted? And he went, God tier. And I said, really? And he goes, well, they're all Zenithal primed, so that counts.
They've got paint on them.
Fucking yeah. They're not what we call 1940s. Message retracted. What the hell? Chris, is that you doing that, or is that YouTube doing that? Because I'm not doing that.
I've got no idea.
That's random.
I've just realised something I can paint. Let me put my teeth back in. I've just realised something I can play this coming week, though.
Yep.
Blood Bowl.
Yeah, been a while.
It's been a while. And you know what I haven't actually pulled out in anger yet?
Careful.
My half
Family show.
my my halflings. Halflings versus Skaven.
Okay, Chris. I will look into that because I have got no filter on the comments and it should be posting everything. So I don't
The only
know.
thing it doesn't like is links, but there was no
There was
links
no
in
links
those to my
there.
knowledge.
I will if I can, I'll review the comments and see if I can work out what happened, mate. But thanks for the feedback. Now I know it wasn't you. I'll have to look at it. But I mean, I'll be honest, I didn't read them fully, but there didn't seem to be anything dodgy in them. I mean, you weren't profaning. You didn't mention COVID, did you? Or Donald Trump?
Did you see my halflings in the Discord, Chris, that I did? My pirate-themed ones for Blood Bowl, because I'm really happy with them. They've come out amazingly. I've still got 2 of them to paint, actually. There's somewhere loitering as well.
Yeah, as we were saying about David Zenithal miniatures, they're what we call 1940s fully painted. They're still in black and white.
No, they're Marco Frissoni Grisale.
What's that,
I've got
mate?
Tree Men still to paint.
Oh, have you not finished them yet? You want to get your fucking
I
finger
haven't.
out, boy? Have you played with them in anger?
No, I haven't played with them in anger. I'm contemplating playing with them anger on Monday.
You should do. You should do, mate. Look, it's 10 past 10. We better call it. Otherwise, we're going to be here yakking all night. Thank you so much to everybody who came and participated in the chat. Fantastic to see you here enjoying the evening with us. Hope you all got some hobby done. Actually, that's one thing that I don't think anybody did, posted what they were actually working on. But that's fine. We'll remind you next week, and you can tell us what you're getting on with. We will be back same time next week, 8 p.m, with some more hobby nonsense and chat. I will probably have dug out my miniatures for Call of Cthulhu, so we'll see what they look like. Still haven't decided. See you later, Jerry.
You're doing your mythos, aren't you?
Still haven't decided what I'm going to do with basing on them. I'm almost 99% certain, because in the board game they come with these huge square bases that you're supposed to put the monster cards in. I'm definitely 99% not using them, because I can just use the cards off to the side of the board, and I want to put them on proper bases.
I don't want to play devil's advocate, but I thought you weren't doing your Mansions of Madness. I thought you were doing some mythos.
Oh, I did say.
I thought you were doing Click Clack and the Angler.
I did. No! You've given me conundrums now. Okay, right. Well, there we go, guys.
By next week.
It'll be a surprise. It'll either be... It'll definitely be Cthulhu. That's all we're going to say.
Answers on a postcard.
That's as close as accurate as I'm going to get. It'll be Cthulhu, but we don't know what Cthulhu. Anyway, let's wrap this show up. So it's good night, and enjoy the week of gaming, people.
It's a night from me. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. Every little helps.
Oh yeah, I forgot all those things. Do all of those things.
Do all of the things. Do the outro.